and welcome back to DFH Stadium for our continuation of the Minor League Esports Super Sunday Showdown. We are at week 10 here in a wonderful stadium packed, filled with you wonderful legs at home, looking on from the stands, and we have some great gameplay coming up for you now. The Academy League. I am ZZ Fallen. Yep, we're going with it. And joining me is my wonderful co-host, I have run out of adjectives to describe you, so we're just going to go with Thunderballs.
Hi, you're not going to put I mean, at this point, we should throw a Z at the end of my name just so it can bookend the two caster names. It could look pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Thunderballs ZZ. But we do have a big series coming up in front of us. We have the Knights and the Jets once again facing off, but this time in a different league, the Academy League. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, the record's not quite as close here as we saw in the previous series. The Jets are far more dominant in terms of wins. Obviously, they play more games because it's a different league than it is in Foundation. But the Jets here are 35-20, whereas the Knights are 26-29, so there's a much bigger spread between these two teams. When you look at playoff implications, it's more so the competition between the Knights and their rivals for the wildcard spot. And they're tied with the Spartans for second, losing on tiebreakers, and they need 4 wins to grab a wild card spot for themselves right now. So they're not necessarily competing with the Jets for playoffs directly, but they gotta pull some wins off them in a big way in this series to get themselves within a shout of a wild card spot.
Yeah, and we are unaware of the actual results going on in the Express Spartans Academy League matchup, but there is huge implications for the Jets currently. If the Jets are to pick up a victory over the Knights, all they would require are the Express beating the Spartans to guarantee them a top of their division. That is how close they are to winning this. However, there is a big storyline coming into this in the form of Micah, one of the players for the Jets. He has been ranked out. This is his final game for Academy League, and he's playing alongside Grandmaster Papi, who these two have been the powerhouses for the Jets this entire season. They have been taking them from being a solid, if underwhelming, Academy League team to one of the best Academy League teams that we have seen in games and on paper. They have been wonderful to watch, and we get to see them here again today. And their opponents are no slouches either. You've got Tez and Jabronis for the Knights. Jabronis I've had the pleasure of casting before. Always an enigmatic and creative player. Always looking for something new and a new strategy for opening up defenses. But his partner Tez is not someone I'm that familiar with. His stats say that he's a very good offensive player. And we're about to see if he will be able to pull that off in game number 1 as we get the players onto the field and ready to go. DFH Stadium is the place where we're calling the action from. We're up in the skybox. It's all go here at this game number 1. And I'll hand it off to you for the play-by.
Well, I'll gladly take it here as Grandmaster Papi is going to take control in the back corner and send it way downfield. Already you see the increase in pace in the game compared to Foundation, and that will continue to be the case here. Micah trying to wrap that one around the far wall to get a piece of it into the middle, but it's already the Knights back the other way. Tez has got a sharp angle that he misses on. Now Micah on the side wall gets swiftly dunked there by Tez, who's already heading back the other way, looking for another sharp angle, and this time they're going to hit it. Knights take the opening lead of the series.
Great play there from Tez to apply that pressure to keep challenging early. Exactly what you need to do in a series like this, where you need to get off to a strong start. And just like their Foundation League counterparts, they get off to a good start here in game number 1. They take the first goal of the series, and hopefully for their sakes, it is to be continued throughout the rest of this game and the rest of the series.
Knights not mistaken here for taking cues from their Foundation counterparts early, but they're going to want to stop doing that as of game number 2 after we saw that last series. So let's see what the Knights do just in this first one. That's a strong 50 into the middle as Micah tries to grab control of that dribble. Tez doesn't get over top as Grandmaster Papi pops a dribble there and gets the dunk. Now Papi into the middle. Tez gathers that over to the side wall where Jabronis is waiting. Jabronis slowing things down, getting the 50 that's going to drop down to Papi. They turn, but Micah gets the pop over top, and now it's the Jets the other way. In the corner, a little bit of an awkward play here. Tez trying to collect. Still persistent are the Jets. Getting close to net here finally, and the Knights steering that one away. It took an age to develop. The Jets got close there to maybe opening up a scoring opportunity for themselves.
Yeah, one of the things I want to bring up, and this isn't necessarily an effect on the gameplay, but always an effect on the mental capacity at which a player plays the game. We have some non-standard card choices here. You've got two Dominuses for Micah and for Jabronis respectively. You have the Octane, the traditional Octane hitbox there for Tez, but also the Fennec for Grandmaster Pappy. And sometimes a player's style of play can really depend on the type of card that they're using because of their mental belief in the card. The whole sort of... I have forgotten the word for them. What is it? It's like a drug, but it's not actually.
Placebo?
Placebo. It's the placebo effect for these players to have certain cards that will work, and it may be a sign if things aren't going the way for one of these players that they may change cards at some point during this to try and create that placebo effect of, okay, if I'm not playing well in the Dominus, I'll swap to an Octane or a Fennec, and maybe I'll be doing a little better there.
Well, between the two teams, it's going to be swaps on the Jets side so far as they still trail by 1 goal. Jabroni's getting that clear for the time being, but Grandmaster Pappy is already answering. And they're off the sidewall. That's almost on target, just off to the side, but Tez still clears. Looking for the follow-up clear. This is now awkward in the corner. Micah's going off that corner. Pappy's too far away initially, and too far again to get the angle. A little bit of tentative positioning here from the Jets, and it's getting to the stage in the game where they need to aggress. But never mind, the positioning overextended there as Micah had the ball blasted over top of his head for a second goal.
Good attempt from Pappy to get the ball into the midfield, but a great read from Jabronis in his own half, in his own net, diving out, making the clearance and sending it so hard that there was no way that Micah would be able to catch up to that ball. The Knights lead 2-0 here in what has been not a dull affair, but definitely a much more tactical and precision-based game instead of an all-out scoring war. I say that as Grandmaster Pappy will send that one home off of quite a difficult goal to concede if you're the Knights defense.
That's a tough play if you're about at any level of play with that awkward bounce out of the top corner, and it was made worse by the fact that the Jets had a perfectly positioned shooter there to finish things off, and it's 2-1 now. The lead cut in half as the Jets try to make a case for themselves in this game number 1. That's not going to help things any as Pappy loses control of that. This is way downfield. Jabronis could get a good touch on that. Here's the follow-up. No, steered aside by the Jets defense, and they're looking solid back there. And it's Pappy. Gets boost, gets ball, gets past one. Looking for more. Losing control a little bit here. The Knights might be able to push back, and Tez going to do just that, getting it on the sidewall. Now it's in dangerous territory for the Jets, and it's back and forth here. You're right. The pace of play, very tactical, very slow, and seemingly neither team wanting to open things up fully and go for the big commit on offense.
You see that a lot at the higher levels of Academy League. It's not as fast-flowing as some of the mid-table matchups because both teams know how much is at stake with every single game and every single goal. That one almost found its way in. Mr. Freeze League now, Micah could not find the angle to put that one home, but really, so far, it has been a quiet game for Micah. He has not turned up as much as we'd sort of predict. Oh, there's the caster's curse. It comes a little late here in series number 2 of the day, but he will find a goal off of a great read.
You know, Fallen, I've yet to meet a caster who is so adept at cursing a play than you. You couldn't even finish the point about how Micah was quiet, and they buried themselves a fantastic dunk goal, but that is a crucial goal here for the Jets as they tie the game with 30 seconds left to play. And now it's going to be final offensive pushes for either team as they try and gain some ground. That is a lot of ground for Tez, who answers back on the aerial. Brilliant ball down low to take the lead back for the Knights.
Neither of the Jets players really being on the same wavelength there. Micah not finding the touch he wanted, Grandmaster Pappy not expecting the ball to be where it ended up. And really an easy and open net for the Knights. They barely had to do anything to find the back of that one. But that's really been the sort of the antithesis of everything about this game. It hasn't been quick goals, but I assume now it is quick goals as Grandmaster Pappy will send that one home off the kickoff.
Well, it had to be quick goals. Jets were very quickly running out of time there, and they had to find one. Boy, did they ever, as that's an absolute clanger off of the sidewall to tie the game, and now it's 18 seconds left here before we head into an opening overtime, and it's the Knights losing control there rather in the midfield. That's a good shot attempt, steered aside by Tez. Now Poppy back into the middle. What a pop. Micah's going to look for the shot. And this is it. Final play here. It's kept up on the sidewall, and we're into extra time. Off the sidewall. Micah side flipping on the aerial attempt, and it gives the Knights a chance to send this into OT.
Yeah, it's all to play for. Game number 1, you can feel the tension in the air again. Both of these teams, they desperately want this game win. The Jets knowing that they have a chance to take their divisional title with this series. With a goal here and then a couple more in the next few games, they can easily take their top spot, the spot that they have earned all throughout the season. However, the Knights looking to try and claw their way into a playoff spot, they need every single game win here. Everything is still to play for, and after a very tentative start to this overtime, it feels like we've sort of gone back to the same old routine we had at the beginning of this first game.
It certainly feels that way now, but it could amp up at any moment, and it might here. Poppy, gets a bump instead of a pass there. This could be very dangerous. Back the other way, but it's answered. This is in the middle of the field, unattended. 2 players dive on it, and now it's Tez and Micah squaring off. Micah, pop middle. Pop again, looking for maybe an air dribble, but couldn't get the angle. Confusion here on the defensive rotation. Allows a bit of space, but the Knights are out of it. Now Jabronis. He's got a dribble play, maybe an opening. Follow up from Tez. That's off the sidewall instead. They opt not for the direct shot. Instead going indirect there, and that's been the name of the game here so far. It's a chess match between these two teams as they try to force a mistake out of each other.
I feel like at this point, one of the teams has to go full send at some point. It's very hard to play this well. I think that one was on target there. Tennis had to make the save to keep that one out from Poppy. It did not look like a shot, but it turned into one off the corner. But right now, neither team is going full send. It feels like there will need to be a full send at some point from one of them to break down their defense because they are so adept on defense. Neither team is making that many errors. Micah with the first real one there, but it might tee up a goal opportunity here for the Jets as they rotate forward. But the demo onto Micah will take that danger away, especially as Papi not able to find the angle on that double attempt.
Huge dunk there. Jabronis comes bearing down on the counterattack. Getting that pop up top, it looked like a relatively unthreatening play, but gets all of the car on that one. And Jabronis seals game number 1 for the Knights. They need 4 to get a wildcard spot, and they've got themselves 1 as they start their campaign for a playoff berth.
Unlike their academy? I was trying to say foundation and I ended up at academy. Unlike their Foundation League counterparts, they're able to pull out an overtime win here, and a great way to start off this series for them. And how apropos that it's Jabronis dunking Micah after Micah dunked Jabronis all the way at the beginning of this game when Micah pulled off the curse for me and then proved that I am forever cursed in the realms of commentating. But in the sense of this game, this is massive for the Knights. They did not come away looking good against the Jets in the first matchup between these two pairings. I believe the Jets came away with the victory, if I am remembering my history correctly. But in this matchup, having come from what was already a good lead, they weren't able to maintain it, but to get that recovery in terms of mentality and find yourself able to get the goals needed to take yourself back in front and win that game when it feels like everything is starting to go against you. That has been crucial to the Knights' success, and we'll hopefully see more of it as this series continues. And with the players ready to get back onto the field, I have to ask, I'm a sort of predictions man, I'm a gambling man, let's say. Who comes away with this series win? Knights or Jets?
You're really going to do it to me, huh?
I'm doing it to you.
Well, you know what? After game number 1, I think it's such a difficult call because of how close that game was. But I really saw enough potential out of this Knights team to take not just that game, but the series. So if you're going to have to force me to make a prediction, I think the Knights are going to do it here. It's going to be close down the stretch, but I think they can certainly surprise the top roster of the Jets by taking them down here.
And as we get game number 2 underway, 20 seconds have passed. No real true offensive opportunity has opened up, but here's the first one, and it will find the bottom of the net. Micah sending that one to the absolute perfect placement. Bottom corner, Tez couldn't get down, Jabronis couldn't get across. and it's 1-0 to the Jets.
And that was the other Jet on the side wall there, Grandmaster Poppy, who had what I call the gravity hit that just sucked in both Knights players, getting baited into trying to make an attempt on it and it opening up that shooting opportunity. And they're going to get another one here. The Jets really burning me on trying to make a prediction on this series because they're already making a case that they're going to take the Knights down. Look at the control. Great answer on that touch and the demo just for some BM in the corner. And the Jets have full control of game number 2.
Sometimes the demo after the fact is the perfect time to hit that demo because it's the, oh well, really? You're going to do that? Mentality breaker. But right now it seems to have only fired up the Knights as Tez will send one home off the kickoff and halves the Jets' lead.
What a smart touch there to kick that off of the sidewall and give themselves a self-pass to follow up on, and they do perfectly. Micah just helpless to get high enough to save that one, and it's now cut in half. 40 seconds gone, 3 goals scored. And these teams are up to their old tricks again, scoring a flurry of goals there and looking to add more. As the Jets pass it off, good Jabronis has to make the touch there. Poppy follows up to Micah. Can't get the shooting angle there, but they're going to regain control. Micah looking for the pinch maybe with Poppy, but the connection's not quite there. Poppy now being afforded a huge amount of space by the Knights, but they get out of it for now. This is Micah. Just popping it off the corner wall there. Jabronis dives across though and makes a fantastic save. The Knights keeping their chances alive in this game with some last-second defense.
One thing I've loved about the Knights' defense is the fact that they are very rare on the overcommitting side of things. They love to play a little bit more passive. That one will tee up in front of the net, but again, Tez not wanting to overcommit, not wanting to make that mistake and have his play be completely undone by a really good rotation back from Micah there, was unable to capitalize on an opportunity. Now trying to tee one up for his teammate. Will try and do it himself, but a great save from Micah to keep that one away. The Jets will maintain their 1-goal lead here, but it is a very thin lead.
And Tez Zukako with touch after touch there, trying desperately to make that solo effort head in. They almost found it. And it's not going to happen though for now. Plenty of game here left and time for the Knights to score, but they're having a tough time cracking through this Jets defense. And here they come again. This is an awkward bounce off the back wall that Micah's trying to control. Tez is waiting at mid for the boost. He misses it, and now he's low on resources, staring down the barrel of a dribble. Grandmaster Poppy losing control. Jabronis now getting a solid 50 into the opposite side. That's a pretty fortuitous bounce off the corner, but they can't get the follow-up touch, nor the second one. It's an opportunity gone by the wayside. Just a few errant touches here, and the Knights losing out on scoring chances that they could turn into quality shots.
A bit of a bump there on defense from Tez, sort of just not rotating correctly, but now the Jets, they're not able to break through that defense, even though those occasional rotational mistakes are coming out from the Knights. It just goes to show how much respect, I think is the word here, respect that either team is showing each other. They are not wanting to make those mistakes because they are so fully aware of how good either team are at capitalizing on them. Very rarely will you see a ball be uncontested from either team. It is that sort of a level of play that we are seeing, and it's that level of almost camaraderie between both of these teams, knowing each other so well, playing with each other beforehand. Tez will send that one, knowing that Micah was out of boost and out of position, will send that one home to tie the game up at 1:39 to go.
And Tez with the textbook power shot, firing that opposite side placement with plenty of power to get the job done. That's exactly what this Knights team needed. We said that Tez at the beginning of the series was the unknown factor on the field, with Jabronis being more familiar with the stream environment, but boy, Tez has really shown up in this game and is making a statement here for the Knights team, who are now looking for more offense. Micah's in some trouble in the corner here. Gets a decent 50 past one. Tez, that player again threatening. It's going to be off the post as they look for the pass mid. Oh, what a dunk there in the corner, but what an even better bump. Poppy really acknowledging the situation there and getting themselves out of trouble with a bit of physicality.
Yeah, exactly what he needed to do to keep that play from developing into a very dangerous offensive opportunity. However, speaking of dangerous opportunities, both Knights players committed on that ball, and the Knights were now forced to hurry back But the Jets have position, they have the momentum now. The ball and the momentum has swung into the Knights' half, and they can't really find a way to break out that often. Only off of the missed touches from the Jets have they found any sort of momentum. Here's another one, but the Knights slow to counter-attack. Tez will get that one on target, looked for the bump, couldn't find it. Micah with a double save to keep it out. Pappy will make sure with the big clearance. The Jets and the Knights have looked incredible on defense as Tez is forced to save his own teammate shot on his own net. This has been an incredible game number 2.
What a defensive stand there from Micah, and back the other way you saw about the world's most aggressive back pass heading straight on net. Thankfully, the defender there, the last one, was aware of the situation, was able to cover it, but this could be a dribble. 0-second time, Jabroni's trying to get the flick. And that's going to drop. What a huge opportunity that fell by the wayside, I think, just due to a lack of boost. That could have been a hallmark play for this series, but we head into a second consecutive overtime. And boy, is it tense between these two teams.
Yeah, neither team wanting to be the one that makes that mistake. And there might be the mistake. Micah touched that one almost into his own net, but a good interception there from Pappy, and now the counter-attack will begin. But the Jets, they've looked so composed when they've gone on offense. They just haven't been able to break down the Knights' defense when they've gotten that rotation in. Here's an opportunity maybe for them. They can't find the shot though, and the Jets will not punish the Knights' defense yet. But the pressure is mounting. One shot will do it, and it will send them to a game win here in game number 2. A boomer from Micah.
And Micah levels the series there with a fantastic shot, finally barreling in after peeling back to collect some boost. They got the resources they needed to get some power on that, and the Jets level the series. Very tense overtime there where a lot of mistakes were being made, both offense and defense, but it was the Jets who finally took advantage and get themselves out of a scary situation, not wanting to go down 2-0 already.
Yeah, one of the things to bring up is sort of outside of the game here, the level of support for the Jets. There is so much love and support from the community towards this team. You can see in the chat the outpouring of support for them from their own teammates from different rosters. Teammates past have come into chat to support them. There's that level of love towards these two players, specifically Micah and Pappy, just having that level of a backing from a group behind you can really be the driving force in getting yourself into a good mentality, knowing that there are people riding on you to pick up a win here, and it can really help to bring you forward. And right now, Micah, after being the man who got dunked at the end of that last game, finds a way to be the one to score the winner in game 2. 2 overtimes, 2 games. You said the Knights had this one. Are you starting to question your decision?
I have to be steadfast. I got to stick to it and say that the Knights are going to gather themselves here. They show that they're fully capable in sending game 2 to overtime. That was not a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. So the Knights are still close here, and while Micah is really proving why they are a rank-out player into Champion League, Tez, in particular, in that last game was a standout performer, and I think they can match the performance by these Jets here. But that's not for me to decide. That's up to the players here. So let's get underway with game number 3, and the series tied at 1-1. It's going to be the Knights who gain control first. Jabroni's is going to deftly touch that off the top corner. Tez is going to follow up off the crossbar as well. And the Knights are going to bail out here on a play that could have turned into an early goal. Maybe not, though. Tez still trying to harass and keep the ball in the Jets' end. Oh, what a touch off the sidewall. Jabroni's has got the follow-up as well, and a brilliant light touch there to get it over top of the final defender.
Absolutely everything that the Knights have done in that first 20 seconds was almost perfect. They couldn't find the goal to begin with. So as Jabroni's rotated back for boost, Tez played disruptor, kept getting himself just in the way, enough to really break the Jets' momentum. However, a kickoff strategy coming out there. Micah with the fake on kickoff has led to the Knights being sort of out of sorts there. Jabroni's forced to make a save. Really, the Knights, they've been doing a great job at just shutting down any offense that the Jets have applied, and now really looking to try and create their own. Can't find the target with that one, but you feel like the second goal isn't that far away.
Not far away at all there if the save doesn't come through, but it does from Tez. Tries to get the follow-up challenge, but gets the boost instead. Here's Jabroni's with a pop up top. Clearly they are low on boost. That's a banger off the side wall, but stopped away. Nice save there from Tez. Here's Poppy to follow up. Steals the corner boost. That is a crucial mistake there, and Micah's going to clean that one up to tie the game with a minute played.
You called out earlier that Jabronis was looking a little bit lethargic without any boost and not able to find that touch at the near post, just giving Micah an easy goal. Hashtag Freeze League in chat for the man who has carried that into his name coming into this series. Big supporter of the idea of wasting all of your points until we hit the goal of 500,000 points in the Twitch chat. Feel free to click that little button at the bottom if you want to do that. But right now, it feels like the Free Sleek movement hasn't necessarily been enough to get Micah and the Jets a strong start to the series. They're only able to take games in overtime, but there is the curse. Part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Micah sends that one home. It's 2-1 Jets.
That came off the back of a fantastic pass there from Grandmaster Poppy to keep that one away from the net and get it into a shootable position. And Micah, as they have done a few times now, making no mistake on the final touch, sending that one home. And it's the Knights who are in now the deficit position, and the Jets bearing down on them once again. Poppy in the corner gets beaten out by Jabronis, who's in a very awkward spot with no boost. Dunked there by Micah, who sends it into the mid. Tez makes a last-second save there. Here's Poppy off of the back wall as Micah gets Axel locked. It's up to Poppy alone, but they can't do it. Still, though, more pressure pouring on here from the Jets. Finally, it's pinched out of the zone, and Micah barely bailing his team out there. Back the other way. Micah, power shot opportunity, doesn't get it. Where's the follow-up from Grandmaster Poppy? They opt to peel instead. Might have been the smart play there, but instead the Knights are going to get the counterattack they so dearly wanted, and they tie the game at the halfway mark.
This level of aggression coming out on the Knights' offensive side of the field. They've been taking it to the Jets when they've come forward, looking for aggressive plays, either by harassing and stopping them from clearing the ball away, or just by bumping them away from the ball and leaving an open net. So far, so good for both teams. 2-2. Neither team really looking like a dominant force in this series so far, and really has been reflected in every single game, having already gone to overtime. There is a good chance we're about to see a third here in Game 3.
Well, both teams certainly trying here to make that happen, but Micah capitalizing once again on some lazy defense on the back end. Missing that touch was Tez. It was a difficult one, I'll grant it, but what an aerial there from Micah to bury that one.
Yeah, absolutely what he needed to do. Again, that one looked a little bit like a Player of the Week nomination. A great pass into a great goal. And if you do want to submit it for Player of the Week, please feel free to clip that in the Twitch chat and send it on over to our Twitter at MLE Esports GG, as Jabronis almost sends that one home. Or better yet, send it over to the Discord and to the channel hashtag Plays of the Week under the community section. And the winner will get a free case of Balls Guarana as the Knights pepper the net. They cannot find a goal. I think they need a case of Balls Guarana in their lives. They need to find a goal for themselves. Maybe that will energize them to maybe find the goal they need to tie this one up.
Well, they're going to need a case of goals, Guarana, here, because they are down, and it is 1:45 left to play here. The Jets are still bearing down on them. I apologize for that joke. It was pretty just terrible, really, and if you see my resignation letter come through on the Discord channel, don't be surprised next week. But anyway, let's get back to the action. 2-3 here, the Knights trying to regain some foothold in this game. Still, they threatened to send this one to overtime, though. Only a 1-goal separation and a little bit of game left to play. Here come the Knights. Poppy is reeling on defense. Ooh, missing the touch, though, Jabronis. That was crucial to find that pass. And it's Poppy back the other way. Strong touch off the backboard. Missed initially. What a save, though, Jabronis. Another follow-up save. Predicting the shot placement on both of those. And that defensive stand could keep them alive in their chances of tying this game.
Yeah, I wanted to make a comment about the bad pun, and I said I would be the one to make a bad pun yesterday to you. You've made the worst one. Either way, there are no bad puns currently affecting Jabronis' defensive playstyle. He's been absolutely amazing just then, and Tez will not be able to keep that one out, though. Micah will dunk that one home. Shades of Game 1, but this time with a little bit of added flair and twirl to it. The Jets lead 4-2.
Micah absolutely posterizes the Knights defense on that one to take the 2-goal lead back at a crucial juncture in the game. There's the fake kickoff again coming out here from the Jets, but they might get punished for it. Missed touch in the middle is going to leave that for Grandmaster Poppy. Gets a little pop into the middle. Micah's going to take this aerially and maybe look for the follow-up. Not quite, though. little bit low on boost. There's the banger of a follow-up shot from Grandmaster Poppy, and the Knights keeping the ball exactly where they want it. But here's Tez the other way, looking for the air dribble. Almost landing it there off of the crossbar. Micah's got to touch this. Awkward recovery is going to open up some space, though. Jabroni's looking for a cheeky pass down low. Here's Jabroni's again. What an angle! Almost on net, just off of the post. And that probably will do it here. The final attacking opportunity for the Knights going by the wayside, and the Jets, they take game number 3 here. And they take now a convincing lead in the series where they could win with one more.
Yeah, and it's kind of rare to see a game like this sort of not go to overtime. It felt like it was heading that way with that pressure from the Knights at the back end of that game, but they just weren't able to get those shots onto the target. They weren't looking to open up the defense the way they'd opened them up beforehand. But really, a standout defensive performance from the Knights, broken down occasionally by some moments of brilliance from Micah on offense. 4 goals from 9 shots. He is taking as many as he can, and really most of them are coming at the hands of Grandmaster Papi, who's doing a lot of the midfield work for the team, as well as covering back on defense when necessary.
Well, when you've got a rank-out player who's kind of playing their final performance at the level that they just left, you have to imagine that they're going to want their teammate to play that facilitator role and really just afford them as many attacking opportunities as possible, and that's exactly what Grandmaster Poppy has done here. So as we head into game number 4 with the Jets taking the lead in this series, my prediction looking a little shaky, but the Knights, again, were not without their moments of brilliance in that game. There was good physicality, good connection between passes occasionally, and creativity on the play. So it remains to be seen here whether they can push even further, shut down the offensive plays at the outset that the Jets are trying to make into the zone, and make a push in the midfield to try to regain some control.
Would you like to hear a fun little stat?
Absolutely. Fire away.
As we get game number 4 underway, this series has taken almost the exact pathing in terms of not actual results in terms of the matches, but in terms of who has won the matches as the Foundation League series. The Knights won game 1, Jets 2 and 3. Now, if the record is going to be, if the script is quite dull and we haven't really written it that well today, it will be Knights game 4 and then Jets game 5.
Well, I would like to sake, yeah, I think they hope you're right, but the Knights certainly don't, because they're the ones who need to take more games here. They've already lost out on their opportunity to take all 4 and give themselves that wildcard spot that they're chasing after. So it's not looking great for the Knights, but hey, that script might still play out.
Yeah, and so far the Knights, they've been sort of a little bit more undone by the now consistently almost perfect touches out of the Jets, who've been able to recover so much better after that what must have been a very painful game 1 to swallow, having led for the majority of it, only to find themselves undone in overtime. Really, they've struggled to make a comeback here, have the Knights, but I feel like game 4, with a little bit of a mental reset, they can find a way to break down the Jets' defense once again and find a way to take a game win, but not when Papi is shooting that well and sends it home. Nothing that either player could do to keep that one out.
Knights in dangerous territory there with some weak touches on defense. Tez trying desperately to keep that shot out of frame, but couldn't quite make it happen, and it's Jets 1-0 here. And as we head into the next stretch of this game, the Jets have the control that they want to close this series out and really solidify their case as the division leader for the season. Here's Poppy sending it into the corner. Popping that one, but it's going to be Tez answering back. Tez getting on it quickly, looking for the shot into the opposite corner. Micah had that covered. That's Micah here on the sidewall, getting beaten out by Jabronis. Chance there for an offensive opportunity. Tez trying to sweep around, looking for the bump instead, or maybe a demo on Grandmaster Poppy. Haven't seen much of that from the Knights, but it has worked for them when they do. Try to get that physicality worked in, and here's just some ping pong back and forth now between these two teams. I would have thought we saw a goal a little bit sooner from either the Jets or the Knights in this game that opened up, but it's closed back down to that chess match we saw in game 1.
Yeah, both teams again respecting one another. The level of respect from these two is on another level, leaving that ball almost completely uncontested in the midfield for a good 5 seconds there. It's, again, neither team wanting to make mistakes, but by proxy making them, and there was no mistake. Micah sends that one home to double the Jets' lead.
And that's the champ in a field of cadets that we really talked about earlier on, where Micah ranking up, it's on the back of abilities like that that really differentiate these players from the academy level. And obviously the separation is not too wide. We've seen the Jets, or the Knights rather, be able to challenge this Jets team and shut Micah down. But when you see a play like that, you really recognize how it is that that player ended up separating themselves out and moving up to the next level. And at the end of the day, that's what MLE is all about. Just the improvement on the players as they move up through the ranks. So Knights, they got some serious work to do now. 2 minutes left to play, 2 goals to score, and they've yet to find a real quality scoring opportunity against the Jets.
There was one there, an attempted play in midfield from Tez towards Jabronis, who has sort of felt a little bit off the last few games, not been able to connect on the ball as well as he might have liked. Tez having to try and step up his play and try and be, in a sense, that same figure for the Knights that we saw in the Foundation League series, where just one player playing out of their mind level good and doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but so far the Knights not able to find that same level of success as their Foundation League counterparts, not able to find that second game win. Now though, a double commit on defense might tee up an opportunity for the Jets, but a good recovery on defense from both Jabronis, and then Tez will deal with it, and then another save from Jabronis will keep that ball out. But the Jets have that midfield locked down currently.
They do, but this might break through finally here as Micah looks to be in some trouble. Tez gets the answer off the back wall, and the first real opportunity the Knights get on net, they really capitalize on it. What a shot.
Does that count as a double touch? I think it does.
I mean, we'll grant them that. At this level of play, yeah, he set it up for himself, read it really early and hit it with a lot of power, so I'm certainly willing to credit them with a double on that one.
Either way, that did find the back of the net as the Jets' lead is halved, and they're looking to immediately get it back to 2, but Tez with a good defensive rotation will keep that one out. The Knights, that is the same level of offense that we've expected out of a guy like Tez now. But he came in as the unknown entity, started playing absolutely mind-bogglingly good on offense, and now able to start transferring that here into game number 4. Can he be the reason they send themselves to game 5 with the chance of taking the series, or is this series going to fall to the Jets just the way they want to? That was almost an own goal there from Micah. He'll be grateful that he did not go over and touch that ball, but now he will be gifted with an open net for his patience. At 19 seconds remaining, the Jets have a 2-goal lead again.
That challenge really ended up deciding the series. Which player was going to win that ball decided whether the Knights are going to be given a big opportunity to tie this game and send it to overtime, or whether the Jets were going to take a 2-0 lead, and it is formidably the latter, with them taking that 3-1 lead. 16 seconds, it's got to be a goal here for Tez. Nope, sent away, and you have to imagine that's probably going to do it for the series chances here for the Knights. They hand one over to a Jets team we touted as being very strong at the outset, and they have proven to be so off of the back of some fantastic offensive leadership from Micah.
Yeah, and what a great comeback as well from the Jets. They were trailing after game 1. Almost demoralized, you could say. Didn't have a good start to game number 2, but clawed their way back in and started to find that momentum. Taking that overtime win in game 2 really seemed to spark something in them. And now, 2 games back-to-back without needing an overtime with 2-goal differentials to the Knights. They take the series in 4, but that is not the end of this series on stream. We will be playing the 5th game because in MLE all 5 games are what matters regardless of the series result. We always play all 5, and right now the Knights are looking to try and further their attempts in getting into that wildcard position by taking this game that they desperately need to have any hopes of making it to that 7th spot and that final wildcard spot.
Well, that second win gets them half of the way there. They need 4 wins, depending on obviously the results of other matches, to get themselves close enough to grab a wildcard spot. And this is week 10, not week 12. So we are not entirely out of extra lives here for a lot of teams who are making their sort of final pushes towards posturing for a playoff spot. It's individual game wins that literally either eliminate you from chances altogether or keep your hopes alive. They may not have their destiny in their hands as this series closes out and as some other game results transpire, but this one-game win is so important for the Knights here. If they can find a way to break through and convert on some of the chances they've been creating from time to time, they might be able to grab one and steal it from the Knights at the end of the series.
And for the Jets, a game win here would make it so that even if the Express are to, I believe, lose 3-2 to the Spartans in the other Academy League matchup in this division, that they would still be guaranteed top spot in their division. There would be no mathematical way, as Jabronis almost sent that one home off the kickoff. That would have been a wonderful way to immediately stop all of that momentum. But Tez, now looking for a double of his own, can't find the touch at the end of it to put it away. The Knights with the early offensive pressure, but no goals to show for it.
Some great mechanical attempts there, though, early in the game for this Knights team, who still seems to be brimming with a little bit of confidence, which is always positive, but that certainly doesn't help. Physicality almost resulting in the goal there for the Jets. The Knights get out unscathed, and they're back the other way. Brilliant flick from Jabronis into the middle, where Tez is going to try to find the dunk. That's sent away by Grandmaster Poppy. Now Micah in the corner has to peel here and leave control to Grandmaster Poppy, who's retreating on defense. Jabronis again looking for the center, but that's hit a little bit too strong. Now Micah goes for the direct approach, straight on net, but Jabronis is back the other way already. Poppy off the side wall, gets the follow-up touch, but gets demoed as well. Let's see what kind of space that opens up. But it was Micah in the background there who had control. Now in this game, 0-0 and a minute and a half gone. This is the tightest game that I think we've seen between either teams in terms of not scoring early. It's very deadlocked between the two in this final game.
Yeah, and really, it's come off of the back of neither team finding that same level of offensive pressure as they've expected in the previous 4 games now. We are in game 5, not game 4, Dan. Make sure you get that right. But right now, the Jets have been a lot more passive in their gameplay, as Papi is absolutely murdered on the defensive rotation back from Jabronis, who still, with limited boost, looked almost for the air dribble there, but sort of went against it, didn't want it. It feels like the Jets have been much more content with sitting back and letting the Knights start getting those offensive shots in, and really putting on the pressure and putting them to the sword here in this game number 5. I say that as Micah almost buries that one under the crossbar.
And Tez now with a challenge in the corner is trying desperately to get some control here for the Knights. They're going to find it as that ball challenging in the corner, but a brilliant half volley sends that all the way down the field, and a demo is going to mean some open space here for a few seconds. Micah whiffing on the flip there. Just getting the wrong angle is going to open up some space now. Jabronis has got a dribble opportunity. The flick is good, but the clear is better, giving lots of time for Micah to get back. Here's Tez. Jumping early on that one. Micah's going to answer quickly, and now yet again an aerial opportunity for Jabronis. This is way high off the back. Coming down sharply, Jabronis, serious candidate there for play of the week if they had found that touch, but the Knights are still going to keep the offense on here. That was mighty close.
Yeah, the minute and 30 of just pure Knights aggression. They have barely been in their own half for the majority of this entire game. But now, with a minute 30 left on the clock, they find themselves in their own half, forced to clear it long. The Jets both having rotated out of that play. Again, just showing that there isn't really that same level of aggression that brought them game wins in 2, 3, and 4. And now the Knights are just starting to pick at the defense, picking holes in them, but they haven't found the clinical shot that they need to take game 5 and to progress their chances of making it to that final wildcard spot.
And as we well know, one overextension from the Knights can spell disaster, as this Jets team's so potent on offense. So let's see what the Knights can manufacture here, and let's see what the Jets can do to try and find that opening they need to close this 4-1 victory out in the series. It's the Jets here with control as that's fired up off the curve on the side wall. Grandmaster Poppy sending that down with venom into the net. What a play for the Jets.
what a read from Papi to get there ahead of Jabronis and touch it down before it even hit the floor. It was across the line. After 3 minutes and I can't count, 3 minutes and 20 seconds, or 4 minutes and 20 seconds, I really can't count, of unlimited Knights pressure. They have not found a goal. It is the Jets on their first true attack going forward that have found a shot on target, beaten both defenders, and have put themselves ahead here in game number 5. If that hasn't been the depiction of this series, I don't know what was.
I was about to make the exact same point. That really paints a picture of exactly what the Jets have done to the Knights in this series time and time again. And as the final 10 seconds of the series unfold here, the Knights are going to do their best to try and answer back and tie this game. Let's see if they can do it. Oh, patient play there from the Jets player underneath means that the Jets close out that 4-1 series win that they so desperately wanted and make a fantastic case for themselves as division leaders heading into the final couple of weeks of the season.
And with that, they go to 39-21 on their games record, whilst the Knights drop to a 27-33, if I'm remembering correctly. The Jets with their 9th series win in 13 or 12 series so far. I'm very good at math today. Please don't clip that. I don't need a clip history of me just muddling maths. I really don't.
Well, you know they will now that you told them not to. Obviously, that's the one thing you should never do to a Twitch chat. But anyway, we'll leave that aside.
What you don't realize is that's actually what I wanted them to do, because I can't be bothered to go through all of the clips and do it myself. Either way, we look ahead now towards the rest of tonight's action. We've got 2 great series coming up, but focusing really quickly on this last game, what defined the Jets' gameplay for the majority of it? What was the reason they were able to pick apart this Knights roster?
I think they sensed the desperation in the Knights wanting to steal that final game of the series, and they just let them unravel themselves. Really, the Jets were so patient in that game, never overextending their positioning, never diving in on a play they didn't feel was a threat to them, and they really just took one solid opportunity, won the game, and got business done when they needed to. And it was a really composed effort from that team, showing why they sit atop their division with such a standout performance.
Yeah, and as we look now to the next 2 series, I believe it is the, if I'm remembering correctly, the Puffins and the Sabres coming up next for Academy League, and then the Puffins and Sabres again for Champion League, because we love doing double headers of tonight. We thank you all for tuning in, but do stick around. After this intermission, you have some more high-octane gameplay coming your way. You do not want to miss this.